Hey guys, it's Laurel, just joining you from the smart car for a check-in video. Today is October 1st, 2020, first of the month, and it's not looking so good for us financially. I think the last video I did was about a week ago, and that video I talked about how I was kind of bummed because we were broke. And Dr. Dispenza had actually announced a workshop in Marco Island for January, and I was super excited about it. I was hoping that he'd delay the announcement until one of my big jobs got paid out, and he didn't. And on top of that, we were broke to the point that we were counting quarters for groceries. Well, a lot changes when you have small businesses. Money comes in, money comes out. And since then, we had some income come in, we had some projects pay out, but we were so behind on cash advances and credit card being maxed out and mortgage being 2 months behind. It still is actually about to lose our healthcare insurance because we hadn't paid that as soon as the money came in, it all went out and disappeared again. And for me, I almost have PTSD from this because I graduated with a very heavy amount of student loans. And despite being in a pretty lucrative field, most of my adult life has been saddled with debt since the day I started. And so kind of all I've ever known is working and just seeing my entire paycheck go away to debt, whether it's student loans or credit card debt I took in college or whatever I took to get by. So that's kind of when this happens, I have to battle to maintain an elevated state of emotion because I feel like it's dragging me back to those times of feeling unworthy, relative to my peers, seeing all my peers be able to take trips and do these things, and I couldn't, I had this debt, and that added to the unworthiness issues that I have. And I won't go on and on complaining, and that's not what this video is for, but I will say that I'm conscious of the importance of keeping my energy high, and I'm conscious of how not having money, how not knowing how we're going to pay next week's bills or get next week's groceries, how that can drag me down into that state of victimhood and complaining and those lower energy emotions. So I'm trying really hard to keep them high. And I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you probably have your own challenges too. And I will say that one of the things that really helps me is watching testimonials. So I've been doing that this morning. Yesterday I kind of slept in. I didn't even want to wake up. I've been feeling so overwhelmed about the money, especially since we're 2 months behind on our mortgage. We don't know when our clients are going to pay out on these big projects that'll bring us forward. And then I think another blow was last week was Dr. Dispenza's live class. I really love that. And at the end of the class, the person that's running the call announced the fact that he said, Dr. Joe just pulled a rabbit out of a hat. He's going to have another workshop in Florida. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? And he said, yeah, it's going to be in November. I'm like, oh my gosh. He said, if you sign up on the wait list, you will have a little more priority. Just a hint, since you guys are attending this class. So I immediately, while he was saying that, I signed up on the wait list. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, maybe they won't announce it until my big check comes in and I have money to go. And they announced it the following day. And if it's anything like last class, it's probably sold out at this point. So it's kind of been an emotional roller coaster ride for me. I feel like it's so close, yet so far. And the big challenge, and I think the main purpose of Dr. Joe's work, is the meditations are important. I've been doing those daily, but more important is to carry those elevated emotions throughout your day, regardless of what's happening to you. So if your bank's calling you saying you've overdrafted, you need to be able to take that call, respond accordingly, and then self-regulate and maintain those elevated emotions. And it occurred to me, I'm still working toward manifesting extra money, obviously financial freedom, because all I've ever known in my adult life is debt, crushing debt. So I'm looking for a healing of finances and liberation and freedom. But I'm also working on manifesting a workshop. And right now, it just seems so freaking improbable. It just seems so unlikely that, when I can't even pay my groceries, and we're wondering how we're going to pay our cleaning lady and how we're going to pay you know, our mortgage is 2 months behind it. The idea of going to a workshop that's multiple thousands of dollars is it just seems so improbable. But then I watch these testimonials and I think about people that had stage 4 cancer, people that could barely walk into the, you know, they might have had a neuromuscular disorder and they could barely even walk into the conference, and they had a healing and they could walk again. And people who's had these diseases they've been battling for decades, and all of a sudden they're seeing them reverse. So I think about those stories, and that gives me hope, because yes, right now it feels like I'll never have enough excess money to be able to spend thousands and go to one of these workshops, but I'm going to keep working on it. And another thing that occurred to me too is, at the end of the day, you don't have to go to a workshop to have a healing. And Dr. Joe is actually, in his books and writings, he's talked about several people that did the healings just from doing the work from a book. They read the book and did the work. They downloaded the meditation and did the work. And so I have to remind myself too that I really want to attend an advanced workshop, but I don't have to do one to attend the healing, because the healing starts when you change your state of being and you start embodying your future reality, whatever you're trying to work on. I think the advanced workshops, from what I'm hearing and seeing, is they're great to kind of thrust people into that moment, because it forces you to remove yourself from your old identity. You're away from everything, all the old reminders, all the triggers. You're gone for a week. So it forces you to sort of like launch yourself into that new reality you're trying to embody, but you don't have to have one to make that reality come to you. And I think that's been part of my problem too, is I've been sort of waiting, like putting my expectations where if I go to the advanced workshop, then I'll see the money come. You know, it's this catch-22 that I need money to be able to attend one. So I think if I can get beyond that belief and really tell myself that if I can embody an abundant life, if I can embody the lifestyle of somebody who doesn't have any debt, I have, you guys, like I have student loans that have been on forbearance for 3 years because they're $90,000. We have back taxes, 5 figures in back taxes. We have a lot of sort of, it feels like insurmountable debt, a lot of debt, and you know, stuff that we've just had to take on because we had to, because we didn't have any resources in our family or outside of us. So it's easy to stand back and look at that and you see like Mount Everest in front of you and to feel discouraged. But I understand now that I can't let myself feel that way, that I have to live as if all that debt is gone. I have to live as if, you know, one of the things I'm working on is as if I have 5 figures in the bank, 5 figures of savings. I have to live as somebody who is financially successful and free of that baggage. And that can be challenging when you have, you know, insufficient funds that are hitting your account, and you have debtors that are calling you, and you have clients that aren't paying you. It can be very difficult, but it's not impossible. So that was one thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to talk about that was really encouraging for me, I had a wonderful dream last night. I dreamt that I was at another Dr. Dispenza workshop, and in this one I got to, you know, help him out. I got to talk with him one-on-one and kind of go back, and he had me look up an email on his laptop or something. It was kind of cool. I was like, okay, yeah. And so I got to help him out personally. But then the crazy experience was in my dream. It was very vivid. I dreamt that I was in a meditation and that I had a mystical experience. And that's something I would really love too. And in my dream, it was just so vivid. Like I was sitting in the meditation, my eyes were closed, and I saw all this like bright white light like popping my head, almost like a fireworks show, but without just the light, not the fireworks. And then I was sitting there and my hands started shaking. My hands were like this, like that, because they had energy flowing through them and coursing through them. And it felt so real. Like it was really cool. It felt like I went to a workshop and had like a legit mystical experience in the workshop. It was so cool. And, you know, of course in the dream, like I'm done with the meditation. I tell everybody, I'm like, oh my gosh, my hands are moving. So that was really cool. It was like a kind of like a tidbit of what, you know, eventually I would like to manifest in real life right now. So those things keep me going. I guess just, you know, I record these videos, I guess to vent a little bit. I'm trying to get beyond complaining, but it does help to kind of vent. And then secondly, just to be real and to document, like, I guess the severity of our financial challenges, like how bad they are right now. So if we're in a place that we do have success and I am able to go to multiple workshops, I can kind of look back and remember like how far I've been, and hopefully it can be an inspiration for other people that are trying to manifest similar things and that are maybe feeling discouraged or feeling like overwhelmed or feeling, impossible, especially during these times where a lot of people are losing jobs and on the verge of eviction. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys checking in, and hopefully I'll just keep on keeping on and try to keep my energy high. Bye, guys.